Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. Today, we're talking with a guest who is known for her straight talk with no sugar added. I love that. She bears her soul to help women transform their thinking while giving them new tools to think differently. She's going to share her story, exactly who she helps, and why she does what she does. I'm Tanya Eberhardt, founder of BrandFace, where we help serious professionals differentiate themselves. And we do that through personal branding.
And I'm Michael Carr. I was a BrandFace client almost 8 years ago, and the principles made my company so successful that I became a partner in this one to help other entrepreneurs do the same thing. And today, we're the most comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe. And we do Be Bold podcasts to help other entrepreneurs like yourself possibly get over the fear of putting yourself out there, which is the number one rule when you're going to make yourself successful in any kind of business. And we're very excited about this guest that we have on here today. Everybody welcome Neena Perez. Hello, Neena.
Hello. Thank you for having me on here. This is fun. I can't wait.
We're so excited. And I want you guys to know we had some chat, time before we hit the record button. And Neena is a chef by trade. And so we just automatically we connected.
Yep. We love that.
Yep.
Food.
We are,
the great connector.
It is. It really is.
It really is. Yeah.
It is. So Neena, you have such an amazing story. So I like to start with this question. Tell us how you got here, where you are right now. It's a long story. I know you what you want to share because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and it's a beautiful story.
Thank you. Yeah. How did I get here? That's like a big story, right? So I actually wrote my autobiography about 2 years ago, and the autobiography is called Hit Me With Your Best Shot: How I Overcame a Hard-Hitting Life. And that's, it's really my story. And it's a story about, being molested as a child and abused and having a child at 15. So teen pregnancy, domestic violence, really hard times in my life, being married and then divorced and all that great stuff. And, that really took me on an even more deeper personal journey. And so I decided that, why would I keep this story, my story, to myself? And I realized that my story doesn't even belong to me anymore. It belongs to others. And so because I healed, because I've done this journey, and because I went to get my neuro-linguistic programming certification, a life coach certification, and all that great stuff, because I want to impact people too. And I feel like if I would have had me, back then, I would have been better off. So I feel like that's my job now, to make sure that I impact people. And so I am a NLP mind flow practitioner. I help women, usually 35 and older, master their game. And I do that to break the chains on their life that are holding them back from anything. So we create mental and emotional freedom so that they can see that there are ways to keep moving forward in their life. Because that's what I discovered in mine. As I started breaking the chains on my life, all of the limiting beliefs, and I think you touched on it a little bit, how you got to get away from the fear of, starting something. And that has really helped me. It served me well. And I feel like that's my job now, to make sure that I serve others well. Yeah. That's me in a little nutshell.
That is a big nutshell. And it's so positive. I gotta say,
you mentioned, I have to interject here. When you said, okay, I went through molestation, I had a child at 15, I went through abuse, and you said, and all that great stuff. And I thought, wow, she's come a long way.
Yeah. You've got a positive spin on that, no doubt has cost you time, and you put into work to do that digging and stuff. And I want to applaud you first off, because I think that that's definitely the right approach in all situations. And then secondly, devoting the rest of your life to helping other people overcome those obstacles is the best way to give back, because that's that's why you went through what you went through, and to recognize that as your mantra now, your marching orders is fantastic. That's really, and it's very bold. I gotta say, it's bold from the get-go.
Yeah,
I'm a bold person.
I love it.
Well,
love it.
that's
you.
one of the reasons you're on here, because we were very drawn to you and your story.
Thank you.
And, it's the confidence with which you sit here today. Some people will be listening to this as audio. Some will be actually watching this video. To you who are just listening through audio, I wish you could see this woman's face. She's so confident and so well-grounded where she is right now. And that's really difficult to come by. There's a statement that I came up with a long time ago. We all go through certain challenges and struggles in our life. They're different for all of us. Some are very minimal, some are very major, but to each one of us, it's unique, right? And I came up with the saying that the only way around it is through it. And I figured out that there was no shortcutting the pain. There was no shortcutting the solution either. It was just plow through it and do what you got to do. What are some things that came to mind for you, Neena, as you were going through this that really turned for you? Like, what were some turning points where you said, this may have been my past, but it does not define me?
Yeah, I've always been the type of woman that just straps on my boots and does what she has to do, right? But I was doing it through pain, right? I wasn't healing from the inside. I was just doing what I had to get done. I went from, poverty and living in shelters and all that stuff to 6 figures. How did I do that? I just put on my boots and I make it happen, but I wasn't doing it fully, not really, So yeah, it looked good that on the outside, it looked phenomenal, but the inside was struggling. Right. And then I had to faith is a big thing for me. So my faith helped me a lot. Having a connection to something bigger than me helped me a lot. And, so for me, it was like, okay, so tomorrow is coming, Neena. Tomorrow is coming. So whether you're going to sit in your bed with the sheets over your head or do something about it is up to you. So that's how I speak to myself, right? So I'm like, even in bed, like the one thing that shifted my life was gratitude. So I could have stayed in this victim mentality. Why not? And everybody probably would have been like, okay with it, right? Because when we talk to people about the things we've been through, they're all like, aw, but the other side of it is you can stay stuck there. And I just refuse to do that. And so I shifted my attitude. And so every morning I get up and I don't let my feet hit that floor unless I've had at least 3 things I am grateful for. And if I can't find 3 things, I'm not getting out of bed. Right. I'm like, then I guess you're behind and staying in bed because you can't seem to find something to be grateful for. But and it started with little things, right? Like, because I was homeless and I've slept in my car, I realized I have a bed now. I'm grateful for that bed. I have heat. I'm grateful. Like those type of things that we don't even think about. The fact that you are breathing air right now, be grateful for that, right? Yeah. You opened your eyes, you walk, all those things that I have that you just overlook, and you're moaning and complaining and you're looking and it doesn't serve you. And I realized that I now have a mindset. What is this serving you, Neena? Right? It's not that it's good or bad. Is it serving you? And if it's not, then it has to go away. Yeah, because I think we get into this place where we're used to beating ourselves up, right? Even as kids, like you did something wrong, oh, you're bad, or you get punished or whatever. I'm tired of punishing myself and I don't want to punish others. So I feel like the attitude is not good or bad. It just is. And then now you have to make the decision whether or not you want to keep this attitude if you feel like it's serving you, or get rid of it. And so that's what I do to shift myself. That's how I am.
That's wonderful.
That answer that? Yeah, I hope so.
Practice also. Yeah. My grandpa used to say good habits are just as hard to break as bad ones. And that's a good habit to have. And I agree with it 100%. I read something today, in fact, in my devotion, I was reading it and it said, it was all about the approaching of something. And it said the epilogue of tonight is the prologue of tomorrow morning.
That's good.
So, it's like making sure that it's positive to that, because that's the way you'll also wake up, and it just continues to be, because we all have problems. I mean, problems are always going to be around. Right. There's always going to Genghis Khan said you can be the mountain and you'll still have goats standing on you.
Yep.
Right. There's always going to be problems.
That's good. That's good. But there's evidence, right?
focus
But there's
on them.
evidence. There's evidence. And that's what I try to tell, the people that I work with and on my podcast. There is evidence that you're a badass. There's evidence
Yeah,
because you're
absolutely.
sitting, because you're sitting here today. And I know that all of us right here sitting here today can actually spew out a story where we've been through some stuff,
Sure.
right? And we've gotten over it, and we've actually moved forward from that. That means there is evidence that we can get through things, right?
Mhm.
And so sometimes we don't give ourselves enough kudos, enough credit, enough grace to know that we are going to really mess it up. We're not going to get it right, but there is a way through this, right? It's always that key word is through, right?
Yep.
So I always try to, that's just the way I've always tried to live my life. And I think there's a lot of people right now in a lot of pain and a lot of confusion, right? But I also feel like it's because we're so inundated with information, but we're starving for wisdom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there's just too much info. And we're just like lost now. A lot of the women that come to me are high achievers. These are chief executive this, chief executive that, president of this. And why? Because they have so much on their plates, so much information. Then they start to go, oh no, like this, I'm too many plates on sticks right now. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. We have to give ourselves some grace though, and know that we're going to mess up, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay, because failure is feedback. That's all that is. It's not good. It's not bad. It's feedback. Right. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Love it.
That is very true. So speak a moment to that woman who is perhaps at a very low point in her
Mhm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first step to getting out of a situation because you deserve better?
Mhm.
What is that first step to you? What was the first step you made, or the point?
Mm.
And there are probably many points in which you realize I'm here and I've got to get here. Something has to change, right?
Mhm.
Where's that? What's that first step?
For me, the first step was finding my worth. I felt like I didn't have any, being molested as a child, and then, being abused and all of those things in your life does not make you feel like there is worth in you, but you are so worthy because you were created and you are here, and there's only one of you. And I know people spew that stuff out all the time, but I really mean it, because it was almost taken from me, right? You are worth it. You're worth you. You are worth you. Right. And so I always start there, like, okay, what are the things that you like about yourself? We don't have to talk about the things you hate about yourself, because those things are already going to come up and try to, destroy your day anyway. So let's not even talk about that. But what do you like about yourself? And it could be anything superficial or deep. But all of us have something we like, whether it's, oh, I like my hair, or I like my eyes. Let's do superficial. But if you go deeper, like maybe you're a person who works really hard. Maybe you're a fantastic mother. Maybe you are somebody who learned how to garden and knows how to create your own things. Maybe you're a good cook. Whatever it is, the truth is that there's always something about us, because we fight every day, even through depression, anxiety, all of those things. We fight every day to get up the next day and still be. Why? What is making you still be? Because we all have intrinsic value. We just do. And we could just start there. I think we can build from that, right? The foundation is, what is your value? What's your worth? What do we have? And let's build up from that.
I like that message a lot.
Yeah. What
Thank
a
you.
beautiful message, especially even if you're not in a tough place, if you're not facing a lot of challenges or obstacles, you still start there. Think about young women, our daughters, right? Think about them and what you want them to know about life before things get tough. That's what you want them to know. If you can prepare any young woman for life, that's what you want them to know.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Tanya's always, like, one of her goals and our goal now is a BrandFace for youth camps, because getting to kids younger and helping them to realize that, because it's an epidemic, not just in women especially, right? But all of us. It's an epidemic of people not realizing exactly what you said. You have intrinsic value. You were created for a reason. You were created to achieve something, and you have it in you to do so. But there's so many other things that block us day after day after day after day. They build up. And then when they're just horrific, like molestations and abuse and things like that, that's even worse. And you lose that sight that you're valuable and you have something to say to the world, and you have intrinsic value to that world, is probably something that gets lost more and more every day.
I think it's hard too, because you're seeing all of this, social media stuff, right? And people are giving you a snapshot of their life in a second, but not showing you the truth, right? And so we're getting caught up in that. And one of the things that I try to help the women that I work with is to stop comparing themselves, because comparison, it really is the thief of joy. You could wake up that day feeling phenomenal. You're a great mom. You got your house is clean, or whatever it is that makes you feel phenomenal. And then you go online and you're like, well, my house is not as big as theirs, or they got their act together health wise, or they got their, and once you start to compare, you're going to steal the joy that you have, that is owed to you, regardless of what somebody else is doing. So yeah, that's great that you're doing that with the youth, because that's important. And somebody else doesn't give you your value, doesn't give you your worth. You are worthy because you were created. It has nothing to do with people's opinion of you or what they do or don't do for you, Yeah.
It's interesting. I agree 1,000% too with not comparing. I teach people, anybody I work with, my entrepreneurs that we work with, or the real estate agents, not only just work with me, but the ones we work with. And I teach them, look, if you're comparing yourself to your competition or other people like that, you've already lost the battle. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Life isn't a race where we're comparing ourselves to how well we did against somebody else. It's how well you did. That's how, are you giving 100%? And nobody can judge that but you. So stop looking at all that and thinking, I wish, or they've got it better than me. I assure you they don't.
Yeah.
We're all human. We all have problems.
That's right.
Dr. Phil McGraw has one of my favorite quotes, which is, your opinion of me is none of my business.
I know what I like.
Right. I love that. I love when he says that. Yeah. It's so good.
I love it too. And, I think, one of the things, another quote that's my all-time favorite quote of all time, has really helped me to kind of position my mind, get it a little bit straight from time to time. And that's Dr. Wayne Dyer's, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. To me, that's my favorite quote of all time. And because there's so much truth in it, most of how we view things is filtered right up here. And all of the experiences that we go through in life become that filter. And to be able to change that takes some work. It takes some dedication, commitment, right? It really does. Think about your story with that, and guys, if you haven't picked up this book, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, How I Overcame a Hard-Hitting Life. I think that everybody, man or woman, has something to learn from that story. When did you decide to do your podcast? Tell us a little bit about that, Neena.
Yeah. So I started that about 4 years ago, and it started off as a monologue. It was more about me talking about what's on my mind, and also talking a little bit about my faith. That's what it was about in the beginning. And then I kind of put it to bed for like a good 6 to 8 months, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So last year, every year I give myself a challenge. So every year I up the ante on what I did the year before. And so writing the book was kind of like the catalyst to start all of that, because I knew that once I pressed publish, my life was going to be exposed, right? And so I'm like, I'm going to lose some family members. I know people are going to be upset with me. Do I really want to do this? The answer was yes, because all I kept thinking of the woman or man that was going to read that book, that was going to have their life changed. And that was more important to me than being liked by my family. So I wrote it. And so the podcast came, because I was trying to pour into others' lives, and I didn't know how to do that outside of like doing a podcast or talking to people. Or back then I used to coach women spiritually. And then in every year I say, okay, Neen, you got your book. What's next? What's your next project? So the next year's project was starting a show. And so I rented a studio and did talk show and so on and so forth. So every year I up the game. And that's, going to what you said, like comparing yourself to you and knowing that you only are going to be the next person you compare yourself with again is you, right? So every day I pick 3 things that I want to improve to make myself 1% better for tomorrow. So the Neena for tomorrow will be grateful that I did those 3 things today, and that's literally how I live my life. I try to live it every day that way because I feel like right now, this Neena is so grateful for the Neena 5 years ago who started the journey, and so I have to think of me 5 years from now. What am I going to do today as my choices that's going to make me super proud 5 years from now? So that's what I do. Yeah.
Another great approach too.
It sure is.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I try to write myself letters too. I email myself and I date them every like 6 months to a year. And I have it emailed to me. And then when I open up the email, it's me talking to me 6 months later,
That's a great exercise.
What a great idea.
That's a great exercise.
It is, because you start to hold yourself accountable. Like if I said to myself, okay, this year I want to make this much money, let's say, I'll write myself that email in 3 months. It pops up in my mailbox and I open it up and it goes, hey, Neen, are you where you said you were going to be? These are the things you said you were going to do, blah, 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 blah. And it keeps me accountable to me. Yeah. Accountable to me. Then I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that good. Yeah. But it makes you go right back on track, right? Because you don't realize that you're going off off the rails. Yeah. You need people. Every coach needs a coach. Every business owner needs a mentor or somebody who knows more about business that can guide them, which is what you guys do, right? With your entrepreneurs. But everybody needs somebody. We can't do this on our own.
No, we say you can't read the label when you're inside the jar.
Right.
That's
a good one.
All the time.
That's a good one.
So, but it's interesting. I really like that. I never thought about putting it to a personal, but my business changed for me when I stopped being reactive and started being proactive and realizing, and we literally put everything on the calendar. So like, we know we need filter changes in 3 months. It's on the calendar, change the filter. Right.
Me too.
And we started putting those things in there, and we do it for everything. I mean, from maintenance of properties, audits, everything. It goes on that calendar. I never thought, send something to yourself. Are you on track? Did you remember to, remember your goal? That's one of the big things. First of the year, we're always talking about goals and setting our goals, right? But then middle of the year, we're like, what goal? You know what I mean? And then,
that's so true.
Email to yourself,
true. Yeah.
Hey, well, where are you? Yeah. Check your numbers, or something. Yeah. I love that. I'm gonna put that to work. I mean,
do that. Yeah. And there's actually a website. There's a website you can do it. It's free. Okay. I forgot the name of the website, but it's a website that you can actually do it through their website and send you the email, or you could do it yourself. Just schedule it. And I do it every 3 months. So I do it because of the beginning of the year. Like you said, we make these big things that we want to do. And so I send mine should be coming in March. And then again, it comes like in like August or so. And then it comes again at the end of the year. Really
I love it too.
All right. Let's get into the meat of things. It's been really nice. All right. We're going to ask you 5 important questions about your personal brand. Okay. And starting with number 1, what sets you apart from others in your industry?
I think what sets me apart is me. That's literally I could just walk away. No, it's really me. I because right now the self-help space and coach space is loud. There's a lot of voices and a lot of things going on. What sets me apart is me. I am really, really straight up. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but if I am, add a little vodka and stir. That's just me. But I think that's what sets me apart is me. Honestly, I have a different way of approaching things. So I believe that because of my experiences and I am really grateful for everything I've gone through. I wouldn't want to go through it again, but I am grateful for what I've gone through. It gives me empathy. It gives me sympathy for others. It also increases my EQ. because I've had to really develop an EQ, right? And emotional intelligence is something that a lot of people don't look at, but I love looking at that. So we dive deep, right? Like, what is going on? What shame is in here? What fears are in here? What do we have to do to unravel all of that to get you where you want to go? And so I call it mastering your game, which is goals, accountability, mind flow, and energy and EQ. And that's what I deal with. So that's how I go about it.
I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. That's a great answer.
Great.
You are the difference that sets
Yeah.
you apart. That's a BrandFace answer for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So number 2 question.
Yeah.
Who do you serve? Who are your ideal customers?
Yeah. So my ideal clients are women 35 and over. That's my ideal avatar, if you will.
Mhm.
And it's just women who want to really break away from any like emotional or mental like strains to have some freedom in their life. And mainly the goal is for them to be free and have some financial freedom also. So if they are, and I don't care what that means to people, because that means a different thing to different
Sure.
people. I'm not
Sure.
talking about hitting 6 figures. If you want to, we'll work on that. But maybe it's just a matter of getting some things that are holding them back from having the freedoms that they're looking for. So that's what I work with. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
awesome. All right. Now, how do you serve them?
So I serve them in different capacities. So I have the podcasts where a lot of them listen to me daily. I drop a podcast 3 times a week. I also have a live that I do every Monday, and it's on money or whatever mindsets I want to talk about that day. Like today was dying to self. Like I had to die to myself and my patterns, my old ways in order to move forward. So I serve them that way. I also serve them through a coaching program, and that's a one-on-one. And we talk about what that means to them, because I tailor it to them. And the other way is I'm actually right now finishing up my second course. My first course is on forgiveness and is it necessary? And my second course is on radical mindset shifts so that we can eliminate limiting beliefs. So I serve them in different ways.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Number 4, what qualifies you to serve them?
Yeah, my life, really.
Amen.
My life. Yeah, I think I've been through enough in my life that I can take all of those lessons and instead of wasting them, using them. So that's what I do.
Beautiful answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And this one should flow easy too.
Mhm.
But it's my favorite question that we ask people. How does it make their life better?
Yeah, I think if I can help any one of them move that needle forward 1% a day, we are on track. Because if you can do that 1% a day for the end of the year, you'll be 97% better than when you started. So it's about that. It's not about this race thing. Let's get you going and you're going to be fantastic in the 12-week program. No, it's going to be a 1% change a day, and I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm good at that. I'm good at that.
Somehow I trust that.
I believe that for sure.
I love it. But that's what people want, Neena.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
come into something to do it halfway. They want
Right.
somebody who believes in them as much as you want them to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
So
Man, we all have so much value and intrinsic qualities inside of us. It's like, yeah, I believe in you. Of course I do. You are all that and a bag of chips as far as I'm concerned. Now I need you to see that. Right. Because when they see that, now we're talking change, because they change, but their family change, their work change, finances change, everything starts to change in their life. That's what it's about. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure is. Okay. What's next for Neena Perez?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm actually right now finishing up a few courses that I really want to launch out there. So one of them, like I said, is about, radical shifting of the mindset. I have a weekly show, like I told you, on Winject TV, and that is on YouTube. So there's a lot of things. I'm also writing my second book, which is it's called Mastering Your Game. And really what that's about is it's kind of like a journal experience. So it's to help you think about what you're thinking about, right? What you're thinking about every day. Why are you procrastinating? Let's talk about that. What are some fears? Let's talk about that. And so you journal it. it's something I'm creating right now, and I'm hoping that'll come out soon. That's my challenge for this year, right? Is to make sure that that is done and done well. So we'll see what's next for Neena Perez. I have every year I challenge myself with new things. So it's going to be exciting.
Very good.
Love it.
And no doubt helpful to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So how can prospects reach you if they have questions or more importantly, want to work with you?
Yeah, so there's a few ways to do that. I'm on every platform at Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. You can go to my website, straighttalknosugaradded.com, which actually getting rebuilt as we speak. And then I also am at the handle Neena Perez. So you can reach me at any of those ways.
And it's Neena Perez.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
Perfect. Neena, you are a breath of fresh air. You're so
Thank
lovely.
you.
Thank you so much for coming on Be Bold Branding.
Absolutely. This was super fun. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Okay, guys, if you learned something today that helped you or inspired you, I think we did. We encourage you to like it, love it, share it, and ding, subscribe so you can be the first to learn about the next episode.
Yeah, guys, it's all about prosperity. And when we talk about prosperity here, we're not just talking about money. We're talking about a true 360 of an abundant life that we truly wish for each and every one of you. We know at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say, be bold, folks, especially with your brand and especially in 2022. Thank you, Miss Neena. And thank you, Miss Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time on Be Bold Branding.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.